Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Femathon and I am one of the co-hosts for Femathon, which is happening for the first time in March this year, and I wanted to give you some book recommendations today. I'll leave Faye from Books and Chocoholics video below where she properly announces this readathon that she's created and goes into great detail about who all the co-hosts are and what each individual prompt on the bingo board means, and goes into detail. I'll leave all that linked below, as well as the Instagram for the readathon and the Twitter, and links to all of the co-hosts below. There's quite a few of us. I'll put this all up on the screen. I'm really excited to be taking part in this readathon, and I'm so lucky and excited that Faye has asked me to help her do this. She's been planning this for a very long time, and behind the scenes we've been putting a lot of work into this, and I'm excited for you all to join in. So Femathon is being held in March this year for the first time, and it's female positive or female aligned authors and protagonists. That is basically what this is about. So the only real rule of this readathon is that the protagonist and or the author must be female or female aligned or non-binary. We're just trying to celebrate female writers and characters and experiences, and I'm really excited to be taking part. And yeah, it's always been a goal of mine to make sure I'm reading more diversely, along with also reading more from women. So I'll just quickly run through the bingo board that you can see here. You know how bingo works. You can aim to read a book for every tile, so you read 9 books for the month, or you can read 3 books to get a line and still get a bingo, or you can read 3 books that fit all the prompts and still complete the readathon. So it's however you want it to work. The readathon is so flexible just because there's so many different types of readers out there, some who can read 30 books in a month and some who can only read 4. So this is just really to help you cater it to yourself. I'll be releasing my TBR video later on this month, and you'll see that there's a couple of prompts that I've doubled books up because I don't get a huge amount read every month. It would be a real struggle for me to read 9 books. So I've just tailored it to myself. So the first title we have is Read a Classic, and then we have Read a Femme Positive Book, and then we have Read a BIPCO Rep Book, or Read a Book which is platonic female relationship, a mother or daughter, a sister or friends, like a really positive female relationship. The middle tile is the wild card, and I'll tell you about that in a second. That's like a free space, so you can read whatever book you want that kind of fits into the whole kind of style of the readathon. Or you can join in, there's a buddy read, I'll tell you about in a second. Read a book that's LGBTQIA+, read a book that's disability or neurodiversity representative, read a non-fiction. The final title is Femme Fights Back, and that could cater to a lot of things. There's lots of genres where historically women didn't write or weren't respected with writing in. An example of this would be like Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein. She really paved the way with that genre of book. So within all these prompts you can kind of work it to whatever you like. As I said, my TBR video is going to be up later in the month, and I'll tell you exactly what it is I'm reading for the readathon. But I also just wanted to showcase a couple of books here that I've read that I feel like would fit some of these prompts if you're looking for ideas. I'm not going to go into great detail about all these books just because it would take too long, but just look them up and you'll see why they fit certain areas, and it's just to give you a bit of idea of how diverse you can read. Because if you watch my channel, you know that I don't really read a lot of non-fiction, and I don't read a lot of like contemporary real world stories, and so that's not kind of recommendations I'll be able to give you. So you see how I'm working around that slightly in my TBR video. My first recommendation is The Burn the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. It's a female author with a female main protagonist. It's an urban fantasy, historical fantasy I should say, and the main character Vassia, she goes through many trials and tribulations, and she comes out stronger for it, and she fights back against the very patriarchal society of like 16th, 15th century Russia, and she stands her ground and is a very strong, independent woman, and is very much a feminist. The next book I'd like to recommend is Kissing the Witch by Emma Donoghue. This is fairy tale retelling, but from a feminist female perspective, and it's LGBTQIA+ rep as well. And then I want to recommend The Fifth Season by M.K. Jensen. I've only read the first book in this series, but it was phenomenal. M.K. Jensen is a black author, so that fits that representation as well. And there's also a very wide variety of diverse characters in here, and it's high fantasy. This is a book I just love to recommend anyway, and it's The Cold is in Her Bones by Perinelli van Arsdale. This is a kind of Medusa retelling, and it's written by a female author with a female main character. And it's fantasy. Another book that I would love to recommend that I think would fit quite a few of the prompts is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. It's a female author with female main protagonists, and this fits for reading a classic, and also the strong sisterly bonds that are in this book. There's so many close friendships. Their sister bond is so tight, they all love each other so much, and it's a really beautiful relationship to watch throughout the whole book. So yeah, this fits for a few of the prompts as well. I'd also like to recommend Becky Chambers. So you've got To Be Taught If Fortunate and The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, which is the first book in the Wayfarers series. Both of these books by Becky Chambers are brilliant. I love them so much. Becky Chambers is a female author. Keep saying it again, stating the obvious. But she writes so diversely. So they're sci-fi as well, but she always has lots of LGBTQIA plus representation as well. And I think they're great. And this would also fit for like Femme Fights Back, because it's science fiction, if you think that would fit for that. I'd also maybe put these books into like platonic female relationships, because within these books there's so many just really beautiful relationships, and these stories are like character-based stories. They do have plot, but are basically character studies, and you come away knowing more about these characters and about these different alien species than you do about what the plot of the book was. I'm sure there's many more books on my shelves that fit the prompts of these bingo tiles for this readathon. I'm just not thinking of them right now. I can't think of them at all. If I remember any more, I'll leave them in the description or pin a comment or something if I think of any more books on my shelves that I've read that fit these prompts. Just in the moment, my brain's going blank. But that's a few recommendations anyway, and you'll get more perhaps next week or the week after when I post my TBR video if you're wanting to read any of the books I'm reading. The last book I want to recommend is What the Buddy Read is going to be. So this is the book that we're putting into the wildcard free space, which is the buddy read, if you'd like to participate, but also read anything if you'd like. This book is Run Rebel by Manjeet Man, so this would fit quite a few spaces on the bingo board as well, so would highly recommend if you want to join in. There's a Discord that Faye's set up. I'll leave all of that linked in the description. There's going to be a lot in the description if you'd like to join in reading and discussing this book with us. But I'm really intrigued to read this. It's not something I would ever have picked up on my own because it's written in verse. And it's about a young girl called Amber who is like trapped by her father, and she's trying to break free of her father's expectations in life. And I don't know too much more about it than that. But as I say, it's in verse, and I'm not sure what Faye's getting me into when reading this, but I think it will be good to join in. So I would definitely encourage you to pick this up if you're wanting to join in with us. I think that's everything. I'm sure there's so much I'm forgetting. Faye will probably get me in the comments because I didn't say something that I should have mentioned. I'll leave all of the wonderful people who are co-hosting this in the description. Please subscribe to them all, follow them all on Twitter, participate in this readathon. This readathon isn't just for female aligned people. This is for everyone. It's always brilliant to celebrate female authors and female characters and the female experience, and I encourage all you men out there to join in with us. Read your bookshelves, read your TBRs and see what books could fit, and you can join in. It's for the whole of March, so there's no pressure to read a huge amount or rush and pack all these books into a short space of time. And it's a few weeks away as well, so you've got time to plan if you're a planner. But yes, I'm really excited to be taking part in this. There's going to be probably Twitter spins, things on Instagram. I think we're going to be doing a few live show-ish, maybe reading along things. I'm not quite sure. There'll be lots and lots filled up in the month of March that you can join in with. And I'm really, really excited. So I would love it if you could all join in. So Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to myself and everyone in the description and join in. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later.